Here's the math most retirees live with. Social Security only covers part of the bills. The rest comes from savings. You pull $3,000 a month from your individual retirement account, the balance drops. You pull again next month, it drops again. Every withdrawal makes you that much closer to the finish line. In 1980, though, 38% of private sector workers had a pension that answered that question for them. Today, that number is only around 15%. And here's the part that most retirees never plan for. The day one spouse passes away, household income drops. The surviving spouse loses the smaller of the two Social Security checks. Sometimes a pension stops. Sometimes a check disappears entirely. But there is something $100,000 does that stops both problems at once. I'm going to show you exactly how it works because this isn't for everybody. Today, I want to show you how $100,000 turns into income for the rest of your life. Income for you, income for your spouse, real numbers, real ages with real situations. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how a fixed indexed annuity with an income rider takes $100,000 and produces guaranteed income you will never outlive, and income your spouse will not outlive either. Let's start with the simplest case, a 62-year-old. Wants income right now, puts $100,000 into a fixed indexed annuity with an income rider, activates the income immediately. You will typically receive somewhere between 6 and 7% of the initial deposit. So that means about $600 to $700 a month in this situation. And that's guaranteed for the rest of your life. The exact amount depends on the carrier, the product, and the date that you start. The structure all stays the same. The insurance company takes on the risk of you living a long time. You take the certainty your check arrives every month. That is the simple case. Single life, immediate income. But most retirees are not single. Most want the income to continue to a spouse. So what if you're married? Most retirees who buy a fixed index annuity for income want the income to continue to their spouse. That is called a joint payout. Joint payouts are lower than single payouts. The insurance company is on the hook for 2 lives instead of just one. If your spouse is younger than you, the payout is lower still. But we know statistically, the younger spouse lives longer. Same $100,000, you and your spouse are both 62. Now, you both want the income to continue to whichever one of you lives longer. Activate immediately. Joint payout. Typically pays between 4.5% and 6% of the initial deposit. Now, here is where it gets powerful. These are deferral credits. If you defer the income for 5 years and you activate at 67, typically somewhere between 8 and 10% of your initial deposit is what you get every month. If you get deferral credits for 10 years and activate at 72, now you're looking at about 13 or 14% of the initial deposit. The 10-year deferral credits is where the math gets interesting. Take $100,000 at 62, wait until 72 to turn on the income, roughly double the monthly income compared to taking it immediately at 62. The income rider grows the income base every year you wait. The longer you defer, the more deferral credits you receive, and the higher the payout when you finally turn it on. Many of our top annuity carriers also provide you flexibility. When you turn on the income rider, they don't make you pick the specific date when you start the annuity. Here's where I tell you who I am, even though you probably don't care, but that's okay. I'm Chris Duncan, and I've been helping retirees with Medicare and retirement planning for nearly 20 years. After all that time, I hear the same thing on almost every call. Why didn't anyone tell me this sooner? Here's why I'm explaining all of this. Most retirees don't have a pension. Social Security covers some of the bills for most people. The rest of the money comes from savings. Every withdrawal from savings makes the finish line closer. A fixed indexed annuity with an income rider creates what the industry calls an income floor. The floor is the dollar amount of your essential expenses every month: mortgage or rent, utilities, groceries, insurance, the bills that come no matter what. When your income floor is covered by guaranteed income, three things change. One, you stop panic selling in down markets. A 30% drop does not threaten your grocery bill. The mortgage is paid, the utilities are paid. Two, the money you have invested in the market is free to recover. You are not forced to sell at a loss to pay bills. Three, you sleep at night. I'm a retirement income certified professional. Building income floors is a core part of that training. I did not learn this from YouTube. I studied it. I tested it. I've watched it work for retirees who built their floor before they needed it. There's one more piece. This is the piece most couples need to hear. When one spouse passes away, the household loses income. The surviving spouse keeps the larger of the two Social Security checks. The smaller one disappears. If one spouse had a pension without spousal continuation, that pension stops too. Household income falls, sometimes by hundreds, sometimes by thousands. The bills don't fall, though, with it. The mortgage is the same, the property tax is the same, the utilities are the same. This is what most couples never plan for. What some couples do is fund a fixed indexed annuity with $100,000. They let it grow. They don't touch it. When one spouse passes away, the surviving spouse activates the income rider. That income replaces the lost Social Security check or the lost pension or whatever income source disappeared. If both spouses live a long time, the annuity grows for 20 or more years before the income is ever turned on. At that point, the payout is dramatically higher than it would have been like at 62. $100,000 generating $1,500 to $2,000 a month for the surviving spouse, depending on the carrier and product, from a single deposit of $100,000. I had a couple come to me a few years ago. He was 64, she was 62. He had a pension that paid him for life. The pension had no spousal continuation, though. If he died, the pension died with him. His Social Security was going to be larger than hers. If he passed away first, which is the most likely, and they both were on Social Security, she would lose her Social Security, and his entire pension would end. Her income would drop by more than $4,000 a month overnight. So we built her a backup full, $100,000 into a fixed indexed annuity, joint life with deferral credits. Don't touch it unless and until he passes away. That money sits there today. If he lives to 90 and she lives to 95, she activates the income rider at whatever age it makes sense. The payout would be tens of thousands of dollars per year for the rest of her life, replacing most of what she would have lost. Here's the honest trade. A fixed indexed annuity gives up some upside in exchange for certainty. The market might do better over time. It might not. Either way, the annuity pays the same check. For some retirees, that trade makes sense. For some, it doesn't. Anyone who tells you a fixed indexed annuity is right for every retiree is wrong. Fixed indexed annuities are not bank products. They are not FDIC insured. They are insurance products, and they're backed by the financial strength of the insurance company that issues them. Fixed indexed annuities have surrender charges. If you take the money out early, typically somewhere between 8 and 10% in the first year, and that declines over time. This is not money you want to access for emergencies. This is the income floor money, long-term money. There is also an income rider fee, typically somewhere between 0.95% and 1.25% per year of the income base. That fee buys you the guaranteed lifetime income. It's not free. You need to understand what you're buying. 3 couples, same age, same $100,000 in savings. 3 different outcomes for the surviving spouse. Couple 1, never planned. Kept the $100,000 in the market for growth. He passed away at 78. The market was down that year that he died. His widow had to sell investments at a loss to pay the mortgage. She lost the smaller Social Security check too. Her income dropped by thousands a month overnight. She moved out of the house they had lived in for 30 years. Couple 2, never planned either. They got lucky though. She passed before him. He kept everything intact. The income floor would not have mattered for their household. And couple 3 took $100,000 and built an income floor for whoever lived the longest. Joint life with deferred credits. The money sat there untouched for 15 years. When he passed at 81, she activated the income rider. She received a guaranteed check every month for the rest of her life. The mortgage was paid, the lights stayed on, she had time to grieve without doing any math. Same $100,000, 3 completely different outcomes. Which couple are you going to be? If you want to know how $100,000 pays you and your spouse for the rest of your lives, we offer a free retirement income review, no cost, no obligation. We will look at your situation and walk you through the options. Go to retirewiseschool.com to schedule yours, or if you're watching on your TV right now, you can go ahead and scan the QR code and it'll take you directly to retirewiseschool.com. You are seeing 2 videos on your screen. One shows how $100,000 is protected from market crashes. The other shows how $250,000 in a CD is losing $9,000 a year to something most retirees never calculate. Both are worth your time. Again, I'm Chris Duncan.